What is that thing you're chasing? How do you feel safe? What makes you feel content? What makes you feel happy in a relationship? What makes you know? What makes you tick? What makes you happy? What makes you excited? You have to know. You have to know yourself. You have to know what you're looking for. I saw him first. He's all mine. You can't have him, no. I saw him first. I saw him first. I saw him first. Now have several seats. Hi everyone, welcome back to my podcast. It's your host, Angie. And today we're going to be talking about if you know, you know. Before I get started, follow my Instagram. I always forget to plug myself. Follow my Instagram at I Saw Him First Podcast. You can follow on Twitter. I don't really use Twitter, but I'm there at I Saw Him First Pod. And on TikTok at I Saw Him First Pod, I think. I'll put it up on the screen so you can see. If you're watching on YouTube, hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're watching on Spotify, because you have the video podcast now on Spotify, hi, don't forget to follow the podcast so you can get notified when I have a new episode, and also subscribe on YouTube so that you get a notification. This is episode 50 and I'm glad to be back. I always say it's been a while because, yeah, it has been a while. I'm not consistent, so let's not get into that. Let's just be happy I'm here today. I think I've got a gem for you guys today. I'm very excited about this week's episode, so sit back and enjoy. Right, if you know, you know. I feel like the people that always say this are the ones that are already knowing. They be knowing already. They're married. They're already with a long-term partner. And they always say that if you know, you know. When you ask for advice on, oh, how do you know this is the right person for me? How do I know if I should pursue this relationship or, end it? How do I know how to feel? What feeling am I chasing? What exactly is it I'm looking for? What is that sign? What is it? People are always looking for kind of not a shortcut, but a bit of a hint or some kind of sign, that lets them know if they're in the right relationship or if they're moving in the right direction with someone, or even if a new person is gonna turn into something, if a new relationship, situationship, someone new that you're dating, or possibly you've been with someone ages, 3, 4, 5 years, you haven't popped the question, if you're a girl, you're still waiting for your man to pop the question, and either of you are worrying, how do I know this is it for me? How do I know to lock this down? How do I know I should ask this person to be my girlfriend, to be my boyfriend? How do I know if I should ask this person to be my wife, to be my husband? I mean, I don't recommend proposing to your man. Let's not do that. We don't do that here. But, how do you know? How do you know that someone is the one, quote unquote, right? Or the right one? And people will tell you usually, if you know, you know. Someone at work, a much older lady, I think she's in her 50s, and she said, find someone that makes you sparkle. And I thought, that's a good one. That's a good one. And I kind of thought to myself, what even is sparkle? What do you mean sparkle, right? Sparkle as in shine physically, glow, someone that makes you glow. And I kind of thought, yeah, I guess someone that makes you smile so much that you kind of glow, your smile is glowing, your skin is glowing, someone that makes you happy, I think is what she's trying to say. Find someone that makes you sparkle, someone that makes you joyful, someone that makes you cheerful, someone that makes you happy. But is that enough to know? Because a lot of people have made me happy in the past. A lot of people have made me laugh in the past. And, they're not here right now. We're no longer together. So we're going to get into that today. What is if you know, you know? What is the knowing? What is that feeling? What's that sign? Let's get into it. When you really, really deep it, It's knowing that you are making or have made the right choice. Because love is a choice. It's a feeling as well. The furry feeling, the butterflies. So it is a feeling. But more than that, love is a choice. Because you do choose to be with someone. Because no one's perfect, right? No one's perfect. So despite their imperfections and the things you don't like about them, you choose to be with them. You choose them, right? So love is a choice. And for me, if you know, I'll break it down into 5 different categories, but the epitome of it all is knowing that you've chosen the right person. I think at the peak of it, at the top of it, is knowing that you've chosen the right person for you. How do you get to that place of content with the person you've chosen? I've broken it down into 5 different categories, or points rather. The first one is mutual interest. You need to have mutual interest with the person you're dating or in a relationship with for you to know. Because if you're still in that place of insecurity, that place of anxious attachment, that place of doubt, you can't know. There's no way you know if you're still insecure about how someone feels about you, or unsure about how they feel about you, or uncertain about how they feel about you, or where a relationship is going. Because if you're unsure about how they feel about you, then you don't know shit. You don't be knowing. You don't know jack. So I think the first one is mutual interest. It's knowing that the person that you're into, the person that you love, loves you back. You have no doubt about how they feel about you and how you feel about them. Okay, actually, let's stop there with how you feel about them, because you're still kind of trying to know how you feel about them. If you know. But you know how they feel about you. There's, at the very bare minimum, mutual interest. You're both interested in each other. You both like each other. You don't feel like the relationship or, the situationship is tilted in particularly one direction. You don't feel like one person is more obsessive and more into it than the other person. You feel like your interest and your excitement for each other are mutually aligned, and there's that push and pull from both sides. Both parties are happy to be here. I think that is at the baseline, what you want to know. The first thing you want to know for you to know that this person is the right person for you is knowing that you have mutual interest for each other, and you both like each other, you both love each other, you're sure about how they feel about you, and you're confident that it's reciprocated. You feel the same way about them. Not one person is chasing the other person endlessly. It's not a one-sided relationship. It's not a situationship. You can't know, in a situationship, okay? Love is, give and take. Love is reciprocal. If it's not reciprocal, is it really love? It's unrequited. Why would you want to be in something like that? You know what I mean? So if you know, one, there is mutual interest from both sides. Number 2, consistency. Consistency in the way you speak to each other, the way you communicate via text, call, the amount of times you meet up, the way you feel, the way you approach everything, the way life is going for you both, the way you do life together, how you see your future. There's alignment in the things you want in the future, and there's consistency in how you both kind of show up in the relationship, right? So what do I mean by that? People with anxious attachment know a lot about this consistency. We need it. We need things to be consistent. We need you to not really stay the same, because that would be unrealistic to ask someone to stay the same forever. Consistency in their behavior. So if someone has been texting you every single day since when you started dating, and then all of a sudden it starts dropping to every 2 days, every 3 days, you start to have doubts naturally, because something's changed in their habits, in their behavior towards you. And I know that could just kind of naturally happen when you get to know someone more. Maybe there's now less to talk about, where you don't feel the need to text them. Because why do you text someone you're dating? Let's even talk about this. It's 2 things, right? One, you just want to hear from them. You just think about them and you just want to say hi. right? I have called someone before and just said, I just called to say hi. Because you think about them and you just want to be in contact, in communication with them in one way or the other. And two, you text them or call them to say something. So you call to make a plan for your next date. You call to let them know about something that, you want them to pick up something for you, or you just call for whatever reason. You have an intent behind that call or that text. I don't think any of them is particularly, or either of them are particularly right or wrong. But if someone has made it a habit to text you every day, for instance, even if it's not throughout the day, if it's every other 2, 3, 4 hours, I feel like back in the day, I was more of that consistent texter. I would literally be texting back and forth throughout the day. But now I don't need that as much anymore. And that has a lot to do with someone I dated that wasn't a big texter. And in my opinion, I thought it was because he wasn't really into me, but he made it clear that he just wasn't a texter and he wasn't on his phone. He didn't use his phone like that. He's not on social media. It's not like me. I be on my phone a lot. Everything I do with my life is on my phone. So because I'm on my phone a lot, or I was on my phone a lot, I would be more conscious of the fact that this person hasn't texted me. But now that I actually intentionally got a smartwatch, so I can use my phone less, because I can control things more with my smartwatch, my music, my podcast. I get text notifications on there, so I can choose to go on my phone or not, or wait a bit, to reply. As opposed to everything being on your phone, you're more distracted. You're going on your phone and you're going on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, then you're on WhatsApp again, wondering, why hasn't he texted me? Text message, why hasn't he texted me? But if you're not on your phone a lot, you're not thinking, why hasn't he texted me? You're just getting on with your day. And when you do get the text on your watch or on whatever, device, you're like, oh, hi. You know what I mean? So consistency in that way where that text is gonna come. That them not texting you throughout the day isn't a reflection of how they feel about you, because they be texting you every day. So the text is coming sometime that day. Is that making sense? I don't know if that makes sense. If someone has been inconsistent in their behavior, where from the get-go, they would text you today and then you have to wait 2-3 days for when they're going to text you next. You're not sure when they're going to text you next. You can't know with that person. You can't know, because you're not even sure when you're going to get the next text. And of course you can text them. You don't have to wait for a guy or a girl to text you. I prefer usually to let the guy text me when he wants to or when he chooses to. And when I text is usually to ask a question or plan the next date. Or maybe I just really miss them and I text them. But I would say with the guy I'm even dating at the moment, I usually just wait for him to text me. And let's use him as an example. From the first date, he has been consistent with texting me every single day. There's not been one day when he hasn't texted me. There's been days when he would text at 7 a.m. Because he's got up for work. And there's been days where the text would come at like 3-4 p.m. But because I know that he will reach out at some point in the day, I don't bother. Like, if the text is not there when I wake up at 7, I'm not thinking, oh dear, has he stopped liking me? No, because he has been consistent. It's been, I think, a month now, and he has been consistent with that everyday text since the first day we met. Before we met, while we were just texting on the app, that's fair game. You don't have to text every day. And even when you start dating in the initial stages, I don't even text every day. But because he started to text every day, I've started to, of course, respond every day. And it's gotten into the dynamic of us texting every day. Now, say there's a day when I don't get a text from him. Right. I know you see where I'm going with this. That's when I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What has changed? Because I know you text me every day. So when you stop texting me every day, I'm thinking, what has changed? Now, right now, if you ask me, are you sure this is the one? Of course not. I can't say that, right? So you can't just answer that straight away. Is it the right person for me? I don't know yet. I only have 2 out of 5. So now let's get into the rest of the points I've got for you today. This kind of feeds into the second point of consistency. I think for you to know, for you to be sure about someone, you have to detach yourself from the outcome. You have to have a mindset of abundance. I don't want to sound woo-woo, but you have to not have the mindset of there's just one person, one soulmate out there for you, right? Because then you will just be narrow-minded, where if something isn't working out, if some guy isn't texting you, then you feel that feeling of back to square one, as opposed to just letting it breathe. So let me just use the last example. If I don't get a text from this guy today, my go-to might be, oh, what's changed, right? But I don't immediately panic or dismiss that. I know it's easier said than done, right? But I think for you to know, you have to just trust in your source in a way. You have to trust that, yeah, why wouldn't they like me? You have to detach yourself from the outcome of a relationship, if that's what you want, or the ring, if you're trying to get proposed to. You have to detach yourself from that outcome for you to know. You have to wait for them to prove themselves to you, and not prove themselves to you in sense of they're being tested, but you have to actually see it through for you to know. It takes time. You don't just know from the get-go. I mean, I'm sure there are people that have this love at first sight story where from the get-go they know this is a person they want to marry. I've heard a few people say that, from the moment I saw her I knew it was her, or from the moment I saw him I just had a feeling that, yeah, that's my husband. Not all of us know that. No. I mean, for the most of us, we don't know from the start. So detach yourself from the outcome of what you want. If you want a relationship, don't pursue it mercilessly. Don't be too attached to the end goal. Don't be too attached to the end goal of being married or having the ring or having this person be the one. Don't be too attached to that. Again, easier said than done. But for you to know, you actually have to get to that point where you have to spend enough time with this person where you can, one, establish mutual interest, two, consistency in the way you're dealing with each other and the way he's dealing with you, the way you communicate, the way you feel about each other, the way you show up for each other, where you don't have to doubt how someone feels about you, you don't have to doubt yourself, you don't have to worry about when you get the next text. That comes with a certain level of feelings and care and love for someone that is just seeing you in the first 2 months. They might really like you, but you're still not a huge part of their life. You're not a major part of their life. They're not going to put you at the forefront of all of their decisions. You're still not going to play a huge role in their plans and the decisions that they make for themselves. So you can't be too into it too early on. Let's just say that. You need to detach yourself from the outcome. You need to let things play out how they're supposed to play out for you to actually know. Let's not use communication anymore. Let's not even use texting anymore. Let's use a different example. One of my friends, actually, this guy that she was dating, or is still dating, I think they're almost 2 months in now, she would call him to pick her up from almost an hour away on the night hour. She's, late at night, she's drunk or whatever. She calls him and he shows up. He shows up for her, and he's shown up 2-3 times now for her. That's how you know. That's how you know that you know. Because this person is consistent with you. And 3, my third point, you're detaching from the outcome. If the guy didn't show up, she's not going to be like, oh wow, he doesn't care about me anymore. But there is going to be that doubt of, oh, maybe I don't know, because this person hasn't proven themselves to me. They haven't shown up yet. They haven't shown up for me. They don't have a track record of showing up for me yet. Does that make sense? So detach it from the outcome and let things play out. Let the evidence be your proof. Let the evidence of, how they have shown up for you, how they have shown you how much they care for you, how they have, kind of just been there for you. Let that evidence do the talking, and just detach yourself from nitpicking every single thing they do, nitpicking the time of the day they text you, or nitpicking the one time they don't text you, or nitpicking whatever it is you're nitpicking. Detach yourself from the outcome. Have a positive mindset, and have the mindset of, there's so much time, that I have so much time for this person to give them the opportunity to show up for me and be there for me, and let me know and show me that they're serious about me and show me that they care about me. Just have that detached mindset of, I'm just gonna be me, I'm just gonna do my thing, I'm just gonna let this play out. And I know there's some people that have probably been with someone for like 5-6 years. I'm not speaking to you. If you're with someone for 5-6 years and they still are not moving forward with the relationship in terms of, getting proposed to, blah, 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 moving in, if that's something you want, then that's a different story for another day. I'm not talking to you lot. But I'm talking about people in the earlier stages, months in, weeks in, a year or two in, just let things go. Let it go. Let it go. All right, point number 4. This again kind of feeds into the last point. Trust in yourself. I heard this from Matthew Hussey, and he said something along the lines of, I'm not going to phrase it word for word. This is just paraphrasing. But it's just knowing that you will be all right, even if this doesn't work out. That's how you know, because you're not holding on to them for an ulterior motive or because you're desperate, right? You know that if it's got into a year with someone, 2 years with someone, 3 years with someone, it's because it's going well, and not because you're so desperate for it to get to the next step and so desperate to be married or to be in a long-term relationship. You have to trust that you can walk away. You have the strength to walk away, and you'll be all right if you do walk away from someone. You have to trust in yourself that you're happy being single. You're okay. You're going to be fine even if this doesn't work out. That has to always be in your head. I will actually be all right if this guy moves mad. If this guy doesn't text me today or tomorrow or the day after, I would actually be fine. Like, I will be okay. I'll cry a little bit, maybe. I'll be sad, but I'll actually move on and I'll be all right. And that just means it's not the one, because I can't say now that I know it's the one. Do you get what I mean? You have to trust in yourself. You have to believe that you have the strength, you have the power to walk away from something that just isn't, or someone that isn't yours, and someone that is not showing up for you, not showing mutual interest, not consistent with you. You know that you can just let them go and walk away from that situation, so that when you do stay, so when you actually, I said this in maybe it's on my last episode actually, that I just want to be that person that when I'm with someone, everyone knows it's because I'm happy with them. Everyone knows because I'm getting what I want from that relationship. Everyone knows that I'm having a great time. And that's what you should want for yourself too. That's the kind of trust you should have in yourself, that if I'm with someone, it's because I know that it's going well. It's because I know that I'm making the right decision staying here. It's because I know I'm making the right decision being with that person. And that leads me into the last point, number 5. Actually knowing what you want. Do you even know what you want? Think about it. Do you know what you like in like a man, or what you want from a relationship? Do you know? Do you know what feeling you're after? Do you know how you want to feel, how you should feel in a proper, healthy relationship? What are the top things on your list for someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with, or, a long time with? Do you even know what that is? And I think you only get that feeling from, or that knowing feeling from, past experiences. You can't know until you've known. You can't know until you've sort of just experienced it before, or maybe something completely opposite. If you've experienced someone who is completely unhealthy for you, someone that's hurt you so much, you just know you don't want that kind of feeling. If you've been with someone that has been inconsistent with the text, that plays games with you, then I don't want to feel like that. If you've been with someone that you have to doubt if they're going to text you today, then right, if this guy isn't texting me, I'm going to just withdraw and take myself out of that situation and not get too attached where I'm the one chasing them. But if you've had it good before, if someone has shown up for you, someone has shown up to pick you up when you're drunk, or pick you up from the station after a long travel, or driven to the airport to drop you, on your way to wherever your vacation, or calling you, or just bringing you chocolate and ice cream when you're tired or when you're ill, someone that's just been good to you, What is that thing you're chasing? How do you feel safe? What makes you feel content? What makes you feel happy in a relationship? What makes you know? What makes you tick? What makes you happy? What makes you excited? You have to know. You have to know yourself. You have to know what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Like, what actually makes me happy? Let me just say a few things. I like someone that I don't have to ask for something. And I know a lot of girls agree with that. We always say, oh, if we have to ask for the flowers, then we don't even want the flowers anymore. So you want someone that takes initiative. Cool. You know that now. Now, if you're with someone that doesn't take initiative, then do you know you know? You don't know you know. Because you can't confidently say that you've chosen the right person for you. Right? 2, also I like getting treated on dates. And if I'm with someone that likes going 50-50, then do I know that I know? I don't know that I know, because that doesn't align with what I like. That doesn't align with something that makes me feel happy. Whereas if a guy likes to pick up the tab and once in a while I just go, actually, you've been paying for loads of shit, let me treat you. Then I'm happy. I'm like, yay, you know, I get to treat you this time. I get to like show you how I like to wine and dine, my style. Then that's how I know, because I know that this guy ticks my boxes. This guy is doing the things that I like. You know, this is the kind of feeling I want to feel when I want to feel like a man is taking care of me. A man is like, not really the head, but in control. I like a strong masculine man, not just physically, but just like mentally, emotionally as well. And, you know, just in the way that he behaves, a man that isn't for everybody. Loyalty, if that's something you really value and you're with someone like on Love Island UK right now, Tyreek. That kind of man I cannot mess with. I don't know what Ella does it, but how do you trust someone like that? And that shows, because in Casa Amor, if you're not watching Love Island, sorry, but in Casa Amor, when Ella brought back Uzi to the villa, she didn't really like him. The only reason she did that was because she didn't trust Tyreek. Right? She doesn't trust him, because this guy has moved mad so many times that even when he said, yeah, we're closed off, you can't even trust that, because he has no record of consistency. Back to point number 3, there's no record of consistency. So how can you know, right? Do you get what I mean? You can't know with someone like that. You can't trust them. If you can't trust someone to be loyal to you, then you don't know you know. So let's recap now the 5 points. Let's see if I can remember my 5 points. Number 1, mutual interest in the way you feel about each other. You don't have to doubt. You don't have to question it. 2, consistency in communication, consistency in behavior, consistency in the way they show up for you. A track record of consistency. 3, detaching from the outcome of what you want, detaching from the outcome of marriage or relationship, and having an abundance mindset. 4, trust in yourself. You know that even if this doesn't work out, you're fine and you have the power to work away. Number 5, knowing what you want and how you want to feel. You have to know what you want to know for you to know that you know. What do you want to know? Do you want to know if they're trustworthy? Do you want to know if they're reliable? Do you want to know if they're attracted to you? Do you want to know if you have similar values? Do you want to know if they can make you laugh? You have to know what you're looking for and that feeling that you're after, and what makes you feel secure and content for you to even know that someone is the one for you to know that you've made the right decision. And if you've gone through all of this 5, you're like, yeah, I do know, then there you go. Then you know. You know that you know. And when you know, you know. Right, I'm done. Time to leave this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again next week. If you did, share on your Instagram story, share with your friends, let people know about this podcast, and I'll see you again next week or in my next episode, whenever that is. Bye.